Well, it ain't just Gamestonk anymore. It's AMC, it's Nokia, it's BlackBerry. It's like a flashback from 2005. Heavily shorted nostalgic companies are surging because retail's fed up with Wall Street, hedge funds, elites, and their exclusive rich club. They're trying to keep closed shut. Well, the floodgates are opening, and let me tell you, there is nothing they can do to stop it. But we're a crypto channel, and altcoins, they're rumbling. So let me rumble your tumble, because it's time for Chico Crypto. Yeah, the craziness from WallStreetBets, Gamestonk, and more made its way into cryptocurrency. The Doge is doing what the Doge does, and it surged because a person who made a WallStreetBets Twitter, it's not even an official account, tweeted about Dogecoin. Has Dogecoin ever been to $1? So, some random guy on the internet who thinks they are the face of WallStreetBets, but they are not, tweets about Doge and it surges. Literally yesterday, it was sitting at over 200%. The markets are insane right now. You want proof of how insane? Elon Musk, he tweeted about Doge just last month. One word, Doge, December 20th. Well, how much did Elon pump it? One of the richest men in the world. CNN covered it. His tweet could only pump it 20%. So, my opinion, WallStreetBets isn't going to go for Dogecoin. Yes, some might buy it for fun, but it's not going to go anywhere, and it will eventually come back down. That is a feature of Doge, not just my opinion. Look at the charts over this cycle. Doge is the one who gets pumped and then dumped right back down to where it started, over and over. Now, I'm not hating on Doge. Chico is fun, but I'm a realist. Doge could go to $1. It would be absolutely insane to have a meme coin have over $100 billion market cap, but hey, the world's insane right now, so it's possible. But it will come crashing down as reality will come back. It always does, and if it reaches that dollar mark, things aren't going to be any different. Once this hype cycle is over, Doge will become a penny or under again, a 99% loss, just like the cycle before. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But damn, Chico, why you such a buzzkill? Well, I'm not. I like to party, but when I party as safe as you can when you're partying. What does that mean? Well, we are looking for the altcoins who share similarities with what's going on in Finance 1.0, who can enhance some movement, including enhancing where it all began, on Reddit. So because of the Finance 1.0 party, this news got kind of swept under the rug. Reddit and the Ethereum Foundation announced an official partnership 2 days ago. Yeah, it's official. Reddit is going Ethereum after the beginning collaboration with the Reddit Scaling Bake-Off Challenge. Now, this is big because the aim of the Scaling Bake-Off, as we can see from the original post, was to scale their community points and bring them to the mainnet. And that's big because it's the Ethereum mainnet, and community points from the Reddit homepage on them are ERC20 tokens. So I've covered the community points before, the scaling bake-off on multiple occasions. We aren't going to dive into that again. Those videos are in the description if you want to check them out after this video. But a summary, Reddit is trialing the community points with 2 subreddits, our Fortnite BR and our cryptocurrency, and they need Ethereum to scale. Many teams have submitted to that scaling competition, but personally we think the possible winners come down to just a few: xDai Stake, Matic Network, OMG, and Arbitrum. And on the official partnership announcement page between Reddit and Ethereum, Reddit admin, who is the lead on the project, user Jaren, said, "In many ways, a scaling bake-off was a starting point for this collaboration. We've been very impressed with the responses we've gotten from the scaling bake-off, and we're in touch with a few teams to explore those options in more detail. While we don't have more details to share right now, we hope to have more to say soon regarding our scaling plans." In touch with a few teams, I'm guessing it's the one we have been zeroing in on. Why? Well, let's begin with xDai. Now, if you go to this guy's GitHub, TWT. This is Tim Tickle. Going to his LinkedIn, we can see his staff engineer for Reddit with a focus on blockchain security, being brought on in April of 2020, just after the Great Reddit Scaling Bake-Off launch. he was brought on for this. Going back to his public GitHub, it's barren, but there's one little green contribution in November of last year. Clicking on it, he opened his first issue in GitHub with POA Network and Block Scout, aka xDai. And going into the issue, we can see he is chatting back and forth with xDai core dev Viktor Baranov. They were in touch with xDai, the head of Reddit blockchain security was. So what about Matic? Well, I don't have anything that close like a Reddit employee playing around with tooling and the blockchain, but a prominent Ethereum researcher, Mahalo, a developer, joined Matic to build, from his own words on Twitter, it's a go-to platform for Ethereum scaling and infrastructure development. And then just last month in December, Matic, as part of the EEA Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, gave a talk on the shift to Layer 2 with Seller and Toss Deans of the Ethereum Foundation. And something interesting, if you didn't notice, Optimistic Ethereum is sitting the scaling competition out. But if you go to their New Beginnings blog post, the switch from Plasma to Optimism, are they really? They thank their donors, which include Matic, and they thank their collaborators and contributors, which include Toss Deans of the EF. So xDai and Matic, I've said for some time, are my top two picks, but there is a slight possibility for both OMG and Arbitrum. OMG, even though I don't believe the tech is anywhere close to ready or ever will be, is connected to both Vitalik and Myaguchi of the Ethereum Foundation, as they were both once advisors to OMG. And finally, Arbitrum. Well, it is the most complete optimistic rollup that was submitted to the competition. And Stephen Goldfeder, CEO, just spoke on Discord about the mainnet launch, the flagship chain, all the dApps, wallet, node providers, oracles, and other infrastructure on chain. aka, they are about ready to go, the first general rollup chain. And Vitalik loves them some rollups. He thinks they are the jam.
The second step, 1,000 to 4,000 TPS, this is if you use rollups on top of the ETH1 blockchain, right? So rollups can get you up to 1,000 to 4,000 TPS, 4,000 for simple ETH sends, 1,000 for privacy-preserving transactions.
And then after this, he put out in early January a rollup post, his incomplete guide, and he said, in general, my own view is that in the short term, optimistic rollups are likely to win out for general purpose EVM computation, and ZK rollups are likely to win out for simple payments, exchanges, and other application-specific use cases. But in the medium to long term, ZK rollups will win out in all use cases as ZK Snark technology improves. So once again, optimistic rollups are the closest to being ready, and the closest to a general mainnet is Arbitrum. But for the chosen one, the scaling solution for Reddit, I hope you get how big it will be. Yes, it's just moon tokens for our crypto and bricks for our Fortnite right now, but what happens when a community point is made for WallStreetBets, the other massive subreddits? It's on like Donkey Kong, but things could be accelerated for those WSB Degens from a certain scaling solution and a sticky bun. But before we get into that, it's time for a short sponsored segment from our friends at the Nervos Network. Like always, the full details of our agreement are in the description. So what is the Nervos Network? Well, the mainnet was launched in late 2019, and that consisted of a high throughput proof of work chain. Yeah, Nervos is going to be proof of work for their base, and this is called the Common Knowledge Base, CKB, whose function is preservation. It stores the assets and provides arbitration, which means it's there for rock solid security, and that arbitration is for their layer 2, which is specifically made to be unbounded for transactions and interoperability between blockchains. aka developers with Nervos build once and their dApps are usable across all blockchains. For example, Bitcoin. That means DeFi across blockchains. So how does Nervos accomplish this? With what they term the Nervos Universal Passport, and this is broken down into 3 core components: the Force Bridge, Polyjuice, and PW Core. So let's begin with the Force Bridge, which is their cross-chain bridge. And it's bridged with Ethereum right now with more chains in the works. And with this bridge, users only have to deploy the ERC contract to begin the movement of the assets, as the bridge supports all ERC20 contracts automatically. No special tooling, no registration, just set it and go. The next component is Polyjuice, the Ethereum-compatible infrastructure layer, bringing the account model to Nervos CKB, which means one should be able to port the existing dApps running on Ethereum to CKB with minimal effort. And the final component of the Universal Passport is the PW Core, their SDK Run Anywhere component. This gives developers the ability to have their dApps run with any public chain wallet, supported by PW Lock, Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, and more. dApps created with this are called PW dApps. Now, one thing I like about Nervos is how they create demand for their Layer 1 by creating an awesome interoperable Layer 2. And all the Layer 2 dApps, PW dApps or not, need to continuously lock up Nervos' own CKB CK Byte token by locking up CKBs in proportion to the size of their dApp. That means the more demand there is for dApps and chain space on Nervos, the more valuable CKBs become. And then 2021 is shaping up to be real good to Nervos. They're working on Godwoken, their generic framework for rollup solutions, and they are finalizing Luminos, a Java and JavaScript-based framework, and Capsule, a development framework which provides a solution to build CKB scripts using the Rust programming language. So, if interoperability in DeFi is your flavor, links for Nervos Network are below. Now, back to WSB, WallStreetBets, and a certain Layer 2 and Sticky Bun. Yesterday, I spoke on synthetic assets and WSB coming to crypto because of them. But the fees, they are the normies. They will not be paying $50 to $100 just to put in a trade. There needs to be a synthetic solution built for Layer 2, built for ease, and the onboarding of the norms. All I gotta say is, Bow chicka wow wow. So what is this Bao.Finance all about? Synthetic assets and using a combination of Bao tokens and liquidity pool tokens as collateral for those synth assets, which can be anything, including stonks. Now, if you go to the Bao Man's recent last week journey post, he updated on what they are working on. He said, "We will also launch Bao Baskets on xDai. This will be Bao's modified fork of Balancer, which will be used to create what we call soft synthetics, more commonly known as indexes. This balancing product needs to exist for us to build full synthetics on the xDai chain in the future." Full synthetics on Layer 2, woohoo! And he put out a timeline for the initial deployment to xDai. He said, "Given this, I expect it will be roughly 1 more month of testing for us to be ready, and then 1 to 2 weeks to deploy. So I would ideally like to deploy us to the xDai chain by roughly the end of February, but we may be able to do sooner if everything runs smoothly." And that seems to be the case. The Bowman, the developer, tweeted this just 2 days ago. "The xDai chain developers are some of the most helpful in the space and have gone out of their way to help support features we need for our migration and future products. If you're a dev thinking about Matic, Near, or AVX, give xDai a chance instead." Bow chicka wow wow. Cheers, I'll see you next time.